some steel workers in Pueblo called. We're trying to get them back to work.
Yeah.
So we're working with them. We'll be working with y'all. No more being out of touch with the people of Silver Cliff and West Cliff and rural Colorado. It's time that the people are recognized and put first once again, because you matter.
Woo!
I got into this because I was working shoulder to shoulder with many people just like you, trying to save pieces of our Constitution. When we saw that Governor Jared Polis was elected, we knew it was going to be bad, but we didn't know exactly how bad it was going to be. And when he put forward the National Popular Vote Compact and stole your votes for president, we went to work. We spent months gathering signatures to piece back the Constitution that he was shredding in our faces. Out of the 229,000 signatures that were gathered, I'm proud to say that I was the second largest signature gatherer in the state of Colorado. And now for the first time since 1932, because of a grassroots, citizen-led movement, we have an opportunity to save our votes for president, to save Colorado's resources that are at risk with this dangerous scheme. Colorado's water. We have an opportunity to prevent anyone like Hillary Clinton from cheating their way into the presidency. That was you that did that. That was the people that got together. And government should never underestimate the power of we, the people. Last year was quite interesting. The Democrats forgot their playbook. They forgot that they are supposed to tiptoe around your Second Amendment rights. Beto O'Rourke slipped up from a presidential debate stage and said what no other Democrat would say before that. We always hear, don't worry, no one's going to take your guns. No one's coming after your guns. That's crazy. And then, in front of the whole world, he said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s and your AK-47s. Well, it wasn't enough for me to sit at home and complain. I had already witnessed the frustration that was brewing with the people. People were angry. Not angry people, but angry because of what was happening to them, to their lives, to everything that was trying to be built, everything that they had worked for. And I wanted to put my hand to something and be a part of the solution. That's why I was working with you. It wasn't enough for me to sit at home and complain about him. So I got in my car and drove 3 hours to his presidential rally with my Glock on my hip. And I looked him in the eye and told him, hell no, you're not. And I did that because I didn't see anyone else doing it. I didn't see anyone standing for freedom. But I saw a whole lot of people giving our freedoms away. I learned in that moment, if I take a stand for what I believe in and what I know is right, and if I speak up for that, I can affect and represent millions. That became a national rally cry for our Second Amendment. I never want to live where my only option is to be dependent on government. I was raised in a household like that. My mom was a Democrat. She believed the lies that the Democrat Party told her, that you need government to make it. You need government to feed your children and to house them and to make sure that they have health care. That was a very limiting way to live life. We were in a cycle of poverty and there was no incentive to get out. At 11 years old, I stood in line for bread and cheese. That is not America's best. When we moved from a rough area in Denver to the western slope of Colorado, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to us. We moved into a community. We had neighbors that said hello. We became a part of something. I got my first job at the Rifle McDonald's. I'm so grateful for the owners of that establishment who took a risk and invested in me. In a young teenager with no job skills, hardly any availability, they didn't know the outcome of hiring me. But they took that risk. My mom was afraid to take risks because Democrats told her, you will fail. What I'm afraid of is not having the opportunity to step out and try. I'm okay with failure as long as I have an opportunity to try. I remember bringing mom home that first paycheck. I remember the pride, the empowerment that came with it, the personal responsibility that began to develop. I took that same message of freedom and independence to women at the Garfield County Jail. And for 7 years, I had the opportunity to counsel at-risk women. Women who had thought they had ruined any hope for a prosperous future. I was able to bring them hope, a favorable, confident expectation that they didn't have to live bound by their past mistakes, shortcomings, or failures. I was able to go into that jail and introduce these women into the God who turns shame into glory and can restore whatever their past looked like and lead and guide and launch them into an impactful future. I was able to bring these women into my home where they lived with my family, showing them compassion, even opening up a business to create opportunities for them. This is all far more powerful than any government program could ever be.
Yeah, man. That's it.
When my husband Jason and I opened our restaurant, we wanted to give back to the community. We wanted people to have the power to put their hand to something and create their own wealth, be in charge of their own future. When we opened our restaurant, at first we were just Western themed. We named it Shooter's Grill because we're in the only city in America named after a gun, rifle. Shortly after we opened our restaurant, there was an altercation where a man was brutally beaten, and he died outside my restaurant. That immediately prompted the question in me, how will I defend my people? How will I protect those that are around me? That's when I took advantage of Colorado's open carry laws. Soon after that, my waitresses began to carry. And the next thing you know, Nightline 2020 was coming in, and Shooter's Grill was being called the safest restaurant in America. Shooter's Grill has given me a platform for the Second Amendment. But through that, an advocacy for freedom was born. I began to read and study the Constitution of the United States of America, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the vision our founding fathers had for our country, and I saw how far away we were going from that. President Ronald Reagan said that freedom is always one generation away from extinction. That's where we're at right now. That's what's on the line. I know that many of you are feeling the same pressure that I feel to step up and take a stand and do something to secure our nation for generations to come. I'm a mom. I have 4 boys.
Whoa.
My husband Jason and I, we are raising our 4 boys to love America. We are raising our boys to be men, to be strong leaders. And we know that that's not going to come from safe spaces or entitlement. Wow. It's going to come from faith, hard work, determination, and these values we are instilling in them every day. As a mom of 4 boys, there is a mandate on my life to secure the nation I'm sending them out into, and I refuse to send them into AOC's socialist nation. Yeah. I want to let y'all in on a little inside conversation I had in D.C. I went to D.C. this Monday and Tuesday, and I had some great productive meetings. It was almost like speed dating the way they were coming in. And the woman who organized them, she's very talented, very well connected. And after a few meetings, we were talking about energy, we were talking about healthcare, and we were talking about what's on the hearts and minds of people right now, and what's really motivating people. And when we had a moment together, she got a little frustrated with me. She slammed her hand on the table and said, "Don't you have anything other than freedom to talk about?"
Oh my God.
And I said, "Ma'am, I don't know what kind of DC bubble you're living in here, but that's what's on the ballot this November. Freedom is on the ballot. America is on the ballot. You can have all the policy you want, but without freedom, what good is it going to do you?"
That's right.
We saw the upset that we did because people are motivated, because freedom is motivating. Our liberties are motivating. We won by nearly 10 points. It was the first time in 48 years in Colorado that an incumbent has been defeated in a primary. We were outspent 10-1, but there was not a single day that we were outworked. That's nothing special to say about me. That's you. and your work, the message that you are sharing and encouraging other people with. You all have a message on the inside of you that needs to be shared. And I encourage you right now, don't hold back. Be bold. There is a lost, hurting, and dying world right now, and they are searching for answers. The answers are on the inside of each and every one of you. So do not wait for permission. Do not wait for an invitation to speak up. People are depending on the message that you share with them, and the invitation may never come. We saw the victory that we saw because people know how important this election is. We hear every election cycle, this is the most important election of our lifetime. But this could be the last most important election that we ever have. Right now, my opponent is a far left, hide in the basement, job-killing socialist. She is trying to deceive voters, tell them that she is an independent, to trick them into voting for her. She is a registered Democrat with socialist policies that will kill our way of life here. She supports the $93 trillion Green New Deal. Her energy policies alone should disqualify her from running to represent the people of Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. Our energy industry is so huge, and she refuses to support the Jordan Cove pipeline, which will create international markets for our clean, liquid natural gas. And not just international markets, which free countries who are currently dependent on communist dictators, which free children and even other people who are involved in slave labor in Africa and China, but it also creates jobs with small businesses. As a small business owner myself, I know the impacts of not having mud on my floor to clean up anymore. That means we don't have those oil-filled workers coming in and patronizing our businesses. We need to get our energy industry up and going again and protect our good, clean energy and not have government choose winners and losers by subsidizing wind and solar.
Right on.
Yeah.
My opponent wants universal health care. For years, she's had a multi-year love fest with Bernie Sanders and his socialized medicine scheme. A single payer system that will bankrupt small businesses. I could not afford the payroll tax that would come with that. It rations your health care and separates you from your doctor. So now you have to depend on government to tell you when and where you can receive care.
No.
My opponent has an ad where she proudly brags that she's endorsed by Planned Parenthood. I will always stand for the sanctity of life and give voice to the voiceless, speak up for the unborn in their defense. And Silvercliff, as your congresswoman with the power of the purse, I will always tell Planned Parenthood to go fund themselves. Now I know that personal attacks are coming my way. I'm okay with that. I know exactly what I signed up for. I signed up to be in their way. I signed up to be the defender between their overreaching, heavy-handed policies that will destroy your way of life and you. I'm okay with the hits that come at me because I know who I'm defending.
Yeah.
The Democrats can only attack personally because they cannot win on policy. Their policies destroy our country. So if they want to support Antifa and these other organizations that are looting and destroying our cities, small businesses that barely made it out of a pandemic are being burnt down. If they want to support that and try to vilify me over a $100 traffic ticket, let them have it. A dismissed case is not going to make the decision in this race. You know what's on the line, your neighbors know what's on the line, and we will have an overwhelming victory in November.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Democrats don't like me, and they don't like this message that I'm bringing to you because they know that you're being encouraged. They know that you're spreading this message. They know that you are influencing others. They know, even at a state level, we are going to flip House and Senate seats that we had no chance of flipping before. They know that Senator Cory Gardner's race rides on our district, and CD3 has to show up so he can keep his seat. A vote against Senator Cory Gardner is a vote against President Trump. They know that we're keeping the base energized. They hate this message that I'm bringing to you because they know that I was supposed to be one of them. I was raised under their failed policies, stuck in their cycle of poverty. But glory to God, I broke out of that. Now we're bringing this message of freedom and the American dream everywhere we go. Thank you all so much for having me today. God bless each and every one.